Yeah, I'm the man from Creed. Yeah. NBA Straya, how are you going? Are you well? I hope you are, because you bloody well better be. Because it's still the first day of the NBA, basically. We're just going to extend it over 3 days, you'll see. But this was an awesome day of more opening day basketball, which is pretty fun. It's Thursday, October 24. This is NBA Straya, and I am your host, James Clements. You can also see me on the panel, the official NBL Supercoach show. I'm definitely not Kate Langbrook. I'm still pretty sure I'm Rob Stitch. I don't know if I'm Tom Gleisner. I'm just saying. Come on. I'm also on the AFL Today Show, NFL Straya, and a bunch of other stuff. I just do lots of things. It's just what I do, you see. But I'm here in the Sports Today studios, aka the James Clements Excellence in Podcasting Memorial Studios, to break down a whopping day of NBA basketball. 10 games. It was awesome. It was great. It was wildly frustrating at the end. You should have the camera rolling, I reckon, producer Gerald, because your mate Jim got a bit upset about the bloody Suns. Anyway, so we're going to talk about all the stuff that happened today. It was chaos. We've got a couple of little other bits of news, but not too much. So we're just going to run through it all. We're going to do the usual thing, NBA Straya Game Wraps. That's on an eye for old mate, no mate, Spud of the night, better than Lonzo Ball. We've got some the Unpopular Opinion of the day, and, of course, Outback Takehouse. We're serving up a flame grill take. There is, I believe, what do we do? What is it, Thursday? So I think we're going to do a Steven Adams. We'd usually sort of do the Steven Adams Kiwi check-in, which is pretty fun. I always like a good Thursday Kiwi check-in. But it's also like the role player of the week kind of vibe, which is always a bit strange to do it at the start of the season. But we've got role players everywhere now, so it should be pretty good. And then we'll preview and pick all the games for day 3 of the NBA season, where I think we've got a bunch of the other teams finally making their debut. Pretty good. Should be fun, so you better strap in. This is episode 1139 of NBA Straya. Let's go!
This is Josh Giddey.
G'day, this is Andrew Gaze.
This is Jack White.
This is Joe Ingles.
This is Dyson Daniels.
This is Chris Anstey.
This is Matthew Delvedova.
This is Shane Hill.
Hi, this is Ryan Brockhoff.
This is Mitch Creek.
This is Nick Kay.
You're listening to NBA Australia.
And you're listening to NBA Australia.
And you're listening to NBA Straya.
And you're listening to NBA Straya. And you're listening to NBA Straya.
And you're listening to NBA Straya.
You're listening to NBA Australia.
And you're listening to NBA Straya.
And you're listening to NBA Australia.
And you're listening and watching NBA Straya.
This is NBA Australia. Let's do it.
Watch out for the Shaq Attack.
You better watch out the attack of Nick Claxton if you're Dyson Daniels. I'll tell you what, Nick Claxton, you just made the list. You touch the Aussies, we're coming after you. I'm just saying. But also, I do love that Dyson Daniels is on the end of that clip saying, let's do it. I'm like, no, it's let's go. You're killing me, Dyson. But anyway, he nearly died today, so I'm glad that he didn't. That is the Shaq Attack. Watch out for the Shaq Attack. I'm just saying, you got to keep watching out for the Shaq-a-roni season, because I don't know about you, but I'm frothing for some Shaq-a-roni. If I missed your call, says Shaq, I'm probably in a cabin sitting by a warm fire enjoying a giant box of pizza. Why? Because it's Shaq-a-roni season. At Papa John's. It's still horrible. Hey, I think we had a comment about this the other day. Needs more pizza talk. You bloody well got it. As long as it's Shaq-a-roni season, we're talking pizza. Papa John's it's such bad pizza, and it's such an insight to the American psyche that they have absolutely undoubtedly some of the best fucking pizza on the planet. Like, as I've said before, the 3 a.m. slice I'd get from, like, just fucking didn't matter where. You'd be shit-faced like, that looks awesome, give me that one. Didn't matter where. It was like that fucking weird bakery across the road from my old apartment. Great. Didn't matter. Actually good pizza from a good place in New York. It was fucking insane. America is off its fucking head for pizza. And then you get their mass-produced bullshit of Papa John's. You're like, what the fuck is this? It's the most American shit in the world. It's like, we've got a good thing. Let's make it shit and give it to everybody. It's like, oh, you fucking assholes. Anyway, let's start the show. It's a basketball show, Jim. Shut up, it's my show. Let's start off the show the way we start every show here with the daily whoosh. It's a whip around. And apparently tear my hammy, bloody hell. bit of news. Kawhi Leonard. Shams came out wearing sunglasses. I almost wore my sunnies just to do a bit of a Shams for this show, but that'd just be, yeah, that's right, fucking stupid. So he came out, he's like, I'm told Kawhi Leonard will be missing weeks. So he reckons at least 2 weeks, says Shams. That's weeks, plural, for Kawhi. Cull and me shocked that Kawhi Leonard, with his undisclosed ephemeral knee injury, isn't ready and rip-raring to come back like tomorrow. Amazing, really. Amazing. It sort of sucks. I mean, having just done a bunch of fantasy drafts, because, you know, that's what we do, start of every NBA season, he just kept fucking dropping, and I'm like, I'm not touching him with a 10-foot barge pole, like, at all. Like, fuck you, Uncle Dennis. Fuck you, Kawhi. I want no bar of that. Couple of weeks. Thing is, producer Gerald and I just watched the end of the Clippers-Suns game as well. I'll tell you what. For a bunch of that game, I'm like, hang on. Bit of something going on here. And then at the end, you're like, oh, yeah. Bit of a tough one. Also, on the injury front, not so much injury front. Well, yeah, we can actually go to the injury front. With the Pelicans, DeJounte Murray might have broken his hand, which fucking sucks. I love me some DeJounte Murray. It's like this, I can't stop loving DeJounte Murray. And I can't stop loving DeJounte. Cause it's the only thing I just want to. I don't want to sleep. No, he's hurt his hand, and they think he might have broken it, which is just a bit shit because that Pelicans-Bulls game was pretty fucking gnarly, and it says that he suffered a fractured left hand. Not great. Not great. So they're going to find out more, and we'll get more of an update probably tomorrow about how long he'll probably be sidelined. But Jesus, that's a kick in the dick for the Pelicans, especially when they watched our man Dyson Daniels fucking tear it up for Atlanta. You don't know what you got till it's gone, etc. The thing is, Zion also missed that game for the Pelicans today, which prompted the line to move pretty drastically, actually. Because I think when we picked it yesterday, the Bulls were 6.5-point underdogs in New Orleans for the season opener. It went, at least I saw it go to 4.5. I think it got to 3.5, then bounced back as everybody sort of jumped on. And then it turns out they just kicked the crap out of him. It was a crazy game. But anyway, no Zion. He was out with an illness, which is kind of one of those like horrible just alerts to get across your NBA alerts where you're like, we already know that Joel Embiid and Paul George are out for today's game against the Bucks. And you're like, yep, it figures. Joel Embiid doesn't like playing basketball. It's fine. And then Zion out. You're like, oh, fuck, what's happened to the big rig? He's sick. And you're like, oh, that's okay. Might have just had a shitty beignet in New Orleans. What about some gumbo? We're just doing a fucking food tour of America at this point. If you've been to New Orleans, you know that it fucking kicks ass. Seriously, I've told this story before. Old mate had one of her, like she doesn't have great hangovers anyway. She had one of her fucking all-timers when we were in New Orleans on a road trip. To the point where we had, got shit-faced. I think we drove in there on like a Thursday or a Friday on a big road trip. Went out that first night. We had a nice dinner booked for the next night. Her hangover's sort of reversed. She wakes up feeling okay, and then she gets progressively more shithouse throughout the day until she's like, it's 6 p.m. and she's spewing, and you're like, what? So I had to go to this fancy dinner by myself. I'm like, I'm going to go eat the fucking fancy gumbo food. Like, fuck off. She's like, just like in bed, sick. I'm like, peace. I'm going to go get drunk by myself in New Orleans. It was great. Anyway, seriously, it was actually. There's like $2 cans at this fucking awesome bar. They had like the Temperite on the bar as well, where you could just pour your own beers. It was like, I love that city. Smelt weird as fuck in the French Quarter. But anyway, Zion was out sick from a sus beignet. That's where I'm going to stick with that one. And then on top of that, James Wiseman. You hate to see this one. Might have been an Achilles. That was the initial report because he did the old look behind him to see who kicked him. And that just I love how we all turn into like amateur doctors because we follow sport. So, you see with an Achilles, you always look behind you because it feels like someone's kicked you. You're like, what the fuck, man? Hey. And you can sometimes see the calf muscle rolling. I'm like, I'm no fucking medical doctor. Not anymore. But this is just the shit that happens. Like, you just have like fucking a billion years of like listening to this sort of stuff just like crammed into your bonds. And there you go. You become a fucking amateur doctor. Which is probably one of the worst amateur things to be, I reckon. Like, we could almost rank those in the off season. But amateur sex worker, yeah, not great. Anyway, what else is there? I don't know. Amateur doctor's pretty bad. Amateur dentist, anything medical is probably bad. Yeah. Anyway, let's do some game wraps because I think that's about all the news. I mean, the Heat dedicated the court to Pat Riley. It's like his signature will forever be on the court. Yeah, okay. I thought the weird one was the Clippers had Jerry West's signature on their court as well. It's like, you mean beloved Laker, Jerry West, who also worked for you guys? Anyway, let's do it. Day 2 of the NBA, the game wraps. Hey, Indy fought back and beat Detroit. That's not a sentence I thought I'd be saying. 115-109. We kind of hit on this yesterday, right? When we were talking about Tim Hardaway and Tobias the Never Nude Harris. It's like, what are you doing, Detroit? And then you watch it play and you're like, oh, yes, of course. You bring in some veterans and shit to sort of hit a base level of competency around your young dudes. And that's what they were. They look very, very solid. But the thing is, their base level competency is Tobias Harris and Tim Hardaway. So when the going got tough, where do you reckon they went? Tobias Harris is like, I'm fucking out of here, peace. He's like nowhere to be seen. I love that he just arrived as well, and he's like the one out there giving the speech at the start of the game. It's like, what? Get Cade Cunningham out there. He's the fucking face of your franchise, you idiots. Anyway, a massive fourth quarter. Detroit just did the usual thing of just completely bottle it in the fourth quarter. Indy ran right over the top, and the biggest moment was basically Halliburton hitting a three, and that just switched the entire vibe of that end of that game because Detroit were fucking coming at him pretty hard, having given up the ghost. They're like, oh, wait, we should try to win. And then Indy wrested back control, win by 6. So what we'll do for, I reckon, for this season for NBA Straya as well, we'll probably hit on some of the key stats and stuff for each game. We'll sort of try to move through it a bit quicker and just sort of cover more ground, I reckon, that way. So Cade Cunningham, though, very, very good game. And that's sort of the thing that I was watching this. I'm like, is Cade good? Is he a star? It's like, oh, sometimes he has like these flashes. And like, to be honest, a lot of the time I just want those flashes because you can flesh out that flash and away we go. Amateur flasher. Yeah, checks out. But he ends up with 28, 5, and 8. Was pretty bloody good. Shot 10 of 23. And then you got Jaden Ivey next to him and you're like, you can sort of see how this might work. Ivey had 17, 5, and 4. Like, they were both efficient-ish. And then Jalen Duren had a 13 and 13. I love that. Tobias Harris and Tim Hardaway had 14 and 13. And that's that base level competency I'm talking about, right? Like, that's a thing where it's like, fuck, we need a bucket. And Tobias Harris is like, all right, boss, you need 14 points. I got you. And it's like, all right, thanks a lot, Tobias Harris. You're mostly fucking useless. But you can hit it. And like Hardaway open up the scoring and all this sort of shit. So it does give them like a little bit of a pathway. But then the flip side is you watch a team like Indy who have an awesome point guard and Halliburton who couldn't hit a fucking shot today until that big three late. He ended up with 15, 5, and 4, 1 of 9 from 3. Literally, it was 0 of 8 before he hit the massive one. It was awesome. 6 of 18 overall. But they have Benny Mathurin coming off the bench and dropping 19 points. Like I mentioned him in our 6-man picks the other day, right? He was awesome. Absolutely fucking fantastic. They've got the sort of more than competent wing dude in Siakam who had 19, 8, 9. And you've got the big men who, like Jalen Duren, 13 and 13, very, very good, but he's not exactly a shot blocker. He's only fucking 20 as well, by the way, Jalen Duren, which is crazy. But then you got Miles Turner on the other side, 29 and 4 for him. And you can just sort of see that variability. And you're like, yeah, this is a team that went to the Eastern Conference Finals last year versus the worst team in the East from last year, basically. You can sort of see the differences. Anyway, the thing is, we got no Johnny Furphy, which I think is just bullshit. But at the same time, get Tins out there. Come on. But Indy, they probably needed something like that just to fucking wake them up. Like, they looked asleep at the start of this game. Detroit were hyped as shit. It's like, we've got new dudes here. We've got some old blokes finally. Fuck yeah, we've got a new coach. Again. And they were fucking on. It was awesome. The weirdest thing I found was that they cut to the fucking owner. He's a weird-looking unit. Weird. Just saying. I think it was him. I don't know. I'd have to go back. Anyway, good win by Indy. That'll spark him into action, I reckon. Next up, Milwaukee kicked the shit out of Philly, 124-109. Maxey was awesome out of the gate, but no one came with him. it was always going to be the weird one when it came to Philly in this game against the Bucks, right? Because without Paul George, without Embiid, yeah, what do you really expect? But I don't know, like Dame had 30. He hit 6 threes. He wasn't doing that much damage early on. It was kind of the bench. And you're like, ooh, the Bucks bench. If that's going to be a problem, you're fucked, Philly. And they were. So this was actually a bit of a laugher where, like, Dame still played 38 minutes because he's a psycho. But Giannis only played 31. He shot 8 of 11. He had 25, 14, and 7. Just taking the piss at that point. But yeah, it was fighting Bobby Portis, fighting around the world with 16. It was 16 for Torian the Red Bull Prince, who hit 4 of 5 from downtown. They hit 16 of 37 from 3. And they just the second quarter, they just ran away from the Sixers. And the Sixers, without Paul George, without Embiid, if you get a lead on Philly now, like you're just like, pack her up, boys, we are done. Because like Philly, the NBA, it's just full of teams who are like, oh, fuck. We're down 18. If we score 2 buckets in a row, we're right back in this, and the 3-ball can drop and boom, off you go. But Philly, without that sort of top-level thing, it was really interesting to see them like fight early on. Yabu was really good early. He had 10 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 steals. He was everywhere, Yabu. Love me a bit of Yabu. Oubre had 21 points, but it was all on Maxey, 25 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists. But he shot 10 of 31 because as soon as like the Bucks went, hang on a second, the only bloke who's doing shit is Maxey. All right, we'll just keep our entire fucking defense into stopping him. And he went to the line 4 times. He took 31 shots. And this is a dude who's not exactly, they even said this on the broadcast, he's not bombing threes all the time. He only took 4 threes. He's going to the line time and time and time again. This was like one of those weird points of emphasis ref games. It was like, if you didn't get hit by a 4x2 on the way to the fucking basket, I'm not calling it a foul. And at a point, it sort of got a bit weird. They still shot 27 free throws, the Sixers, and 31 for the Bucks in the end. But at the start, it was fucking nuts. Anyway, so yeah, the Sixers, 25 for Maxey, 10 and 13 for Drummond, fine, right? But without Eric Gordon firing, he went 1 of 6 and 0 of 2 from 3. And without that sort of depth of scoring, because you got Caleb Martin, happy days, right? Love me some Caleb Martin, but he had 12 and 9, and that's probably what you'd expect from Caleb Martin. He's not going to go out and get you 30 unless he's playing the Celtics and it's 2 years ago and turns into fucking the combination of Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen. So good job by the Bucks, but anytime you can double up the team's 3-point makes, you should probably win. Then we had Cleveland at Toronto. They kicked the fuck out of them, 136-106. Not much to read into here. Toronto, their defense is shocking. Like, that was the thing for me. You're just watching this and just going, oh, right. I thought their offense was going to be bad, but their defense is just fucking, like, it gives bin fires a bad name. Like, that sort of stuff. So, watching this for Toronto, like, Cleveland, if you look at their, like, the team stats, which is always one of those interesting ones, you go, points in the paint. That was a bit of a difference there, wasn't it, man? 68 to 38. You reckon that tells a bit of a fucking story? Yes. So not ideal if you're the Raptors. Dash is getting absolutely dominated. 25, 9, and 3 for Mobley. Even though Garland couldn't hit a shot to save his ass, he went 3 of 12. Donnie Mitchell had 21. Only played the 28 minutes because they just ran roughshod over them. My sweet baby, Karis LeVert, didn't miss until right at the end. He had 19 points and 8 of 9 shooting. 14 for Ty Jerome. Like, this was a laugher for like the last 20 minutes of this game. And for the Raptors, Scoob, early contender for Spud of the Night. Scotty Barnes, 3 of 14. Brutal gear. Grady Dick had 16 points. He shot 5 of 13, though. He was that sort of sneaky fantasy guy as well. He's got to shoot 1,000,000 threes. It's like, yeah, but what happens if they're all just... He's probably going to be fine. Now, it's day one. Overreaction time. I love that. But at the same time, this was just a brutal game for everybody involved. Quickly, 13 points in the 14 minutes. And, yeah, it was just all a bit shit for the Raptors, really. Mobley kicked their ass. Donnie was fine. Scoob was brutal. And away we go. Yeah, and IQ went out with an injury. So not ideal for the Raptors, but there you go. You get that on the big jobs. Brooklyn 116, Atlanta 120. This is closer than I thought. I tipped Atlanta yesterday at the line. They looked like they were going to do it. But then I think they're up 8, and Cam, like with 20 seconds to go, Cam Thomas bombs a 3. They turn it over. He bombs another 3. Suddenly it's a 2-point game. They foul. They hold on. But most of this one for me is Dyson Daniels absolutely fucking tearing shit up. This was, even his agents out there just like, this I believe is called a defensive masterclass. You're like, fucking, you're not wrong. 5 steals. He was shredding at 15 points. Gets absolutely fucking clotheslined by that piece of shit Nick Claxton. Jumps straight back up and was like, fucking, what'd you do that for, dickhead? I'll fucking wipe you off the face of this fucking earth, dickhead. Come here. And Ben Simmons is sort of in the background going, oh, I feel bad for Dyson, but Claxton's my teammate. I'll just go over here instead. Ben Simmons returning to the scene of the crime is always funny as well when he plays in Atlanta. You're like Atlanta were booing him. It's like, why the fuck are you booing Ben Simmons? Without him, you wouldn't have made an Eastern Conference Finals. Like, what the fuck, idiots? Atlanta fans are, again, fucked in the head, but yeah. Otherwise, Brooklyn looked wildly competent, basically because they're like, hey, Cam Thomas, can you score like 40? And he's like, fucking, yeah, probably. He scored like 20 points in the fourth quarter. It was sick. The problem is the rest of that team is shit. Like Ben Simmons included with another awesome triple single. But look, Benny's going to take a while to warm back up, obviously. And by the time he warms back up, he'll probably do his back again. But by the same token, we'll give him a little bit of leeway. And the triple single, the biggest problem for me was the 6 turnovers. Wait, scratch that. The biggest problem for me with Ben Simmons, and we'll talk about this all again in the Australian Play Watch. But when Ben Simmons gets the ball, do you remember what he used to do? He'd be like, all right, dickheads, out of the road, go in the bucket. Now he's like, dribble, dribble, dribble. Where's the handoff that I have to do? And then I'll set a screen. And then I'll fuck off. You won't see me again on offense. Oh, wait, I might do a sick back cut and get a little bit of a dunk. And you're like, you're fucked in the head. What happened to the dude who was always going downhill? Anyway, it's game 1. We'll give him a couple of weeks, month or 2. Hopefully gets the confidence back. But yeah, not looking to ever score. Probably not ideal for a point guard who's fucking 6'10" and can dunk on anybody. But Cam Thomas ends up with 36 totals, 14 and 27. He was fantastic. Then he showed the I am German Rondo. He and Ben Simmons clearly fucking hate each other as well, which is pretty fun. Outside of that, yeah, that team is just like, let's hit lots of threes and hope for the best, which is fine if you're a shit team. I'm fine with that, actually. Cam Johnson, though, what a disappointment he is. 1 of 6 from downtown. They hit 17 threes total because they're all just bombing him. So they went 17 to 43. And the Hawks, great game from Trae Young. He had 30 along with 12 assists. He had 12 and 6 from DeAndre Hunter and Jalen Johnson. God, he looks so good. He had 11, 10, and 4. He's built like a brick shithouse, and he's absolutely awesome. But Onyeka Okongwu, yes, he's playing against Brooklyn, who have Nick Claxton, and that's it in terms of big dudes. And at times, they're just like, fuck centers, we don't need them. I don't know how that's going to work out. And then Onyeka Okongwu went, how's it going to work out, Jim? I'm going to fucking demolish him. And that's what he did. He had 28 and 8. It's his best game ever. Onyeka Okongwu just tore shit up. Zachary Rissache, the number 1 pick. He's the first number 1 pick to come off the bench. I want to say since, who the fuck was it? Let's have a look. List of number 1 NBA picks. It was Markel Fultz. There we go. I had that one in the back of my brain. Didn't even see it on there. First one says Markel Fultz, which is what, 17, I want to say. He was fine too. He had like a sick dunk of an awesome, like Trae Young, his hair looked fucked. I'll talk about that again later. But some of those passes, he had a sick one to Okongwu, he had a great drop off to Ricochet, and it's good. It was very fun. So I'm here for Atlanta. They're like this sneaky team, and I sort of hit on this in the over-under show. Like, just keep an eye on that. They've just, well, I talked so much in the over-unders, didn't I, about like the hierarchy shit. And again, like Atlanta is now just like, oh, the hierarchy once more is Trae Young and then fucking everybody else. You all understand that, right? And Dyson is such a fucking good fit next to Trae Young because he's bigger than DeJounte. He actually tries on defense. And boom, he's kind of the thing that ails you. So, no, he's the cure for what ails you. There you go. Nailed that eventually. Good job, Atlanta, to eventually, like they should have won this by 8. Instead, they win it by 4. That's fine. Bit of a fuck up at the end. What are you going to do? But Good start. Had to win that one. Orlando shit pumped Miami 116-97. This was a laugher. I loved it because I tipped the shit out. Orlando was somehow underdogs in this. I'm like, they're going to fucking kill Miami, and they did. How did they do it? They looked so fucking balanced. Everybody was hitting threes. They just kept getting rebound after rebound after rebound, it felt like. And Miami, I mean, this is a team that early on in the season, I'm just going to be like steering completely clear of them the entire time because they're old, weird, and sort of janky and trying to make just sort of shit fit. Like Jimmy Butler, another Spud of the Night contender, 1 of 8. Jovic looked good though. It was weird that the announcers kept calling him Nico Jovic. I'm like, nah, I don't know if he's a Nico. He kind of looks a bit like a Nico, but he's got to earn Nico, you know what I'm saying? Duncan Robinson couldn't hit shit. Tyler, there goes my hero, had a really good start and then didn't hit another fucking shot. He had like 14 in the first half, didn't score in the second. So Orlando run away with it. They hit 18 threes. Jalen Suggs was knocking in shit. He had 11 and 4. But then he sort of went off hurt, I think. And then you had 33 from Paolo, which was fantastic. You had Franz Wagner, hello, looking awesome with 23, 4 and 4. Hit 3 of 6 from 3. What did I say the other day about fucking most improved? If he hits some threes, look out. It could be Franz. And outside of that, Anthony Black was really handy too, which is good. And for the Heat, like, bam. Like, he goes 1 of 5. Butts goes 1 of 8. You're not going to win that game. Sorry, Heat, but you're just not. So, tough start for them. And this is it. I just don't trust the Heat's talent depth at the moment, and this is why. You got 19 minutes of Jaime Jaquez. He had 13 points. Love that. Outside of it, Duncan Robinson, 2 of 7. Haywood Highsmith, yikes, 4 of 8. Thomas, not Kobe Bryant. He goes, 2 of 2 for 7 and 3. And then it's just nothing else. It's weird. It's just a weird team. Terry Rozier, 5 of 15. That's a classic Terry. Good job, Orlando. Chicago fell short against New Orleans, 123-111, despite an extreme nuclear reaction from fucking Zachy Cakes Adam Levine. He went, wait, what's going on? Are we losing? Fuck that. Boom, 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 boom. Just knocks in a bunch of shit. They take the lead. And I'm like, yes. I'm on Chicago today. Let's go. Oh, now they've given up the fucking lead and they've lost. It was crazy. Like, we talk about the worm a lot on AFL today. I love a good worm. The worm in this game is nuts. It's like tight, 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 tight. Oh, Chicago's up, and then boom, the Pelicans just like zoom off ahead. You're like, oh, gone. Pack her up, boys. You are done. This is without, obviously, Zion, with DeJounte getting hurt. Zachy Cakes Adam Levine having 27. Vooch not basically having to play against a center because they essentially started Herb Jones as their 5 and Vooch 8. But Vooch eating is essentially to the tune of 21 and 11. And that's all Vooch can do now because he's kind of fucking, like, he's fine. He's perfectly fucking serviceable. But he's not good, right? Like, another center would be like, yes, he's very good. They have no center. I am 1 foot tall and everybody else on the court. Maybe I should do some more. He shot 12 times in 31 minutes. And they got their ass kicked. It's fucking horrible. That's why I hate this Chicago team. It just makes no sense. Piss off Levine. Piss off Vooch. Or at least keep doing this. This is what you should be doing, actually, to be fair, Chicago. You should be playing the fuck out of Levine and Vooch, building up their trade value and then pissing them off. And just building around Giddey, Kobe White, Patch, everybody else, and you're laughing. Lonzo got back out there, which is nice to see. He had 5 points. Love that for him. But the Pelicans, I mean, 23. CJ McCollum is always forgotten about. 23 and 5 from him. He was fantastic. But then Spindles Ingram took over in the second half. He ends up with 30 fucking 3. Just one of those things again where you're like, Zion, good. Brandon Spindles Ingram, good. Together, shit. But play them apart. It's fucking awesome. This is what the Pelicans are hoping for as well. It's like, oh, Zion, maybe sit out the first couple of games, or just say you had a shitty beignet. We'll build up Brandon fucking Spindles Ingram's trade value again, then we'll fucking move him on. What do you reckon? Just saying. That's probably how I'd do it. Jim, are you an NBA GM? Well, not yet. No, but still. Anyway, good job by Spindles. Good to see him do that. Loved it. But really, they had a fucking field day in that second half, and Chicago just, they worry me. I think we ended up taking their under, didn't we? It's like 26.5, and I still landed under, which is fucking hilarious. Anyway, Charlotte, Houston, speaking of hilarious, what are you doing, Houston? Too many dudes. I love Houston. I love the dudes, but they've got too many of them. And Charlotte went, I reckon they've got too many dudes. They don't know what the fuck's going on. And Houston just stopped playing defense in this game. It was chaotic. They win it 110-105, Charlotte. Outscored them by 9 points in the fourth quarter because Houston's like, what are we doing? No one had any idea. LaMelo was awesome. My favorite sort of aspect was that T-Man, not to be confused with Terrence Mann, T-Man is fucking Trey Man. He's awesome. He had 24, crushed it, 6 rebounds. Houston, however, like Jabari Smith is just running around like a fucking chook with its head cut off. He's like, I don't know. Am I the center? What do I do? And they're like, Şengün's the center. Play off him. And he's like, I don't know how to do that. Just fucking loses it. He's got no idea. He got fouled at the end of this game on a 3 that was fucking stupid by Grant Williams. And he's like, all right, sick. Grant Williams is like, ball don't lie. I'm the most annoying prick in the entire fucking NBA. It's like, shut up, Grant, you idiot. You shouldn't have fucking fouled a 3-point shooter. And he missed the first free throw. And there goes Houston's chances of basically winning this game. And it's just, you have Thompson. Which one have they got? Amen. I'm pretty sure it is. But Dylan Brooks is fucking shit. Jabari Smith doesn't know what he's doing. And like everybody's always looking over their shoulder. It's like you put a fucking step wrong. It's like Ime is like, all right, Tari Eason, on you go. Thompson, on you go. Cam Whitmore, you're only getting 8 minutes today. And you reckon Cam Whitmore's happy with that? Fucking no chance. He reckons he's the best player on that team. And most of the time he's not wrong. Meanwhile, Jalen Green just signed that weird fucking extension with the 2+1. And he shot 9 of 23. And it was worse than that, it felt like, for most of it too, until he had a big shot late. Ends up with 28 points, but he had 2 rebounds, 0 assists. Ugh. Like, fucking hell. Fred VanVleet, here's your bit of a spoiler alert. Spud of the night, 4 of 18. Ugh. So everything kind of went a bit wrong for Houston. And this is always going to be my problem with too many dudes. It's hard to figure out. It's game 1, again. I'm going to say this time and time again throughout these wraps, but yeah, game 1. Just hard, but you should still beat Charlotte. Because Charlotte, again, though, hierarchy, you know what's going on. LaMelo, 34, 8 and 11. Fuck yeah. Yeah, I guess you could say I'm back. 10 points for Miles Bridges on 5-11 shooting, bit shit. Spindles Miller, awesome early, then gets hurt and is off. And I'm like, fucking hell, he's in like every single one of my fantasy teams. You're breaking my heart. Hopefully he's all right. Grant Williams was solid after that. But Trey Mann coming on and just going, I might win 6th man of the year. What do you think? And you're like, Jesus, you might actually. 22, he was fantastic. No Josh Green today as well. He's sitting out. He's like, he was in street clothes, so he didn't. So I feel like he's like carrying an injury. I didn't actually look at that one, but that's my bad. I might do that right now. But because they have that built-in hierarchy straight away, Charlotte, they just looked fucking awesome. They were everywhere, and they could just ride LaMelo down the stretch, and he was bloody good. So good job by you, Charlotte. I enjoyed it immensely. I knew I was going to love that game. I was so happy that I picked Charlotte yesterday. I'm like, oh, and then I'm watching it early. They were up 18, Houston, as well in the first half, and I'm like, oh, fucking cook this. Fuck. And then I'm watching it more. I'm like, hang on a second, there's something here. And Houston just never quite looked on. Josh Green, Achilles, has enrolled out. Someone's got an AI to write their fucking things, haven't they? Good job, ESPN. For Wednesday's opener. Enrolled out. Oof. Hopefully it's just Achilles soreness. Hopefully he's all right. Let's go, Granny. Anyway, then we have Memphis, Utah. I think I've done all the games. I'm going to Indy, Detroit, Brooklyn, Atlanta, Orlando, Miami, Milwaukee, Philly. Yeah. Charlotte, Houston, Chicago, New Orleans. Yeah. Memphis, Utah. I'm just angry about this game because of fucking Larry Markin at the end. But 126-124. Wildly entertaining game. Because Utah will keep doing this. They've got enough baseline talent in Lowry, Keontae, Jordan, Jeremy Clarkson, etc., that they'll hang with teams, especially at home. They look fucking awesome there. But then Memphis are just like, that's fine, but we've got Ja Morant. Check this out. And on top of that, we've got Ja Morant and Desmond Bane. And you're like, yes, Desmond fucking Bane. So outside of this, you're like, what else you guys got? And they're like, whoa, we've got a Jared Huff. And you're like, oh, that's not good. And this is going to be my thing for fucking Memphis, I reckon, the rest of this year. Marcus Smart went out and shot the magic number. Just saying. Let's do it. Chill! Woo! We're going back-to-back days with the 3-11. You love to see that. But as a team, they still went 17 of 45 from downtown Memphis, and that's exactly what you need. And it comes from like dudes like Huff, even Concar hit a 3. But Santi Aldama, when you get 5 out of 10 from downtown from him, that's found money. He had 27 points, and that was the key for Memphis today. He was fucking everywhere, which was awesome because Marcus Smart, as I said, 3-11 for 11 points. They sort of need that extra kick, and that's where they got it. So good stuff for Memphis. Also good to see Scottie Pippen Jr. He was very handy late, just saying. But for Utah, 35 for Lowry. Bloody good. 16 and 14 for Walker Kessler with 5 blocks. They may have just finally fucking figured that out. If they have, I kind of love this Utah setup because they're massive. Because they've got Kessler, Lowry, Markkanen, and they had Taylor Hendricks start as well. Tyler Hendricks, as we call him. Hendricks. Yeah, it's Hendricks because it's like, I want to say Jimi Hendrix, but it's not with an X. Anyway. And they've got Keontae George, who couldn't hit a fucking shot to save him. So he's actually our spud of the night, a 3 of 18 today. But Jordan Jeremy Clarkson off the bench was 17. They were right there with them all game. Out-rebounded the Grizzlies, which is not a giant surprise when they're starting Zach Edey in his first ever game. But Utah, there's just, between Sexman and Keontae George, you're like, are you guys point guards? Can you get dudes a shot? Like Keontae George had 7 assists and only 1 turnover, but he took 18 shots. Like, that's absurd. Anyway, Utah are going to be fun. Memphis are back. I love it. Golden State kicked the shit out of Portland. Really, Jim, did they? Yeah, they really did. 139-104. This was a fucking laugher. Steph didn't have to do much in this one. I was hoping more from Cumbucket, Johnny Kuminga. Draymond didn't do giant amount either. He went 8, 6, and 3. Kuminga had 10 points, 14 for Trace Jackson Davies. Very good from him. He had 14 and 4. Wiggo, though. Andrew Wiggins is like, hey, remember me? I'm like, no. No one remembers you, Andrew Wiggins. He's like, I'm an NBA champ. It's like, shush. But if he's back and being solid and Andrew Wigginsy again, because he's dealt with a bunch of these personal problems the last couple of years, don't mind that for Golden State. Just saying. Steph had 17 and 10 assists, which is very, very nice. He shot 3 of 7. He almost had a triple-double, which is pretty crazy. But yeah, they got 15 from Moses Moody. They got 22 from Buddy Hield, who went, hey, no pressure. Boom, check this out. 5 of 7 from 3. And they ran right over the top of Portland, who got 5 of 12 shooting from Anthony Penny-Simons for 15. They got dominating for 10 and 11. They get a team without a center, basically. It's like, Draymond Green and Trace Jackson Davies, cool. Are you going to dominate him? And he's like, no, I got paid. Fuck off. It was good to see do-up, bop, do-up. Get out there, though, for a very, very brief run at the end. He hit a 3. Very nice for him. 3, 1, and 1 for do-up. But the Blazers, like, this is the thing. Denny Avdija is awesome. He had 15, 7, 2, 2, and 2. 2 steals, 2. I fucking love Denny Avdija. But with Jeremy Grant out there, Jeremiah, was 16 and 2 rebounds and 3 assists, dominating. It's like, this team just feels like a fucking mess. Scoot Henderson coming off the bench, he had 22. That was awesome. Just, again, too many dudes and a lot of them are shit for Portland. So anyway, good win for Golden State, good start. And then we had the absolute fucking blockbuster. Finally, we got an awesome game. Phoenix Clippers. Geez, Jim, didn't this one shit you up the wall? Yes. Why was that? No, because I basically I had the Suns at 4.5 and they won by 3. And they could have gotten fouled at the end and won by 5. Bloody hell. But this game was awesome. We go to overtime, 116-113. You got the Slim Reaper, Kevin Durant. Devin Booker fouls out because he's just like, I don't know what I'm doing. We open the Intuit Dome. They're in LA, in Inglewood, California. Love that. And Fat Man Hoop Alley Clan, James Harden. He's out there, the only dude there because Kawhi's on the fucking bench being weird. And we've got a new look Clippers team. Didn't stop James Harden, though. 29, 12, and 8. And Zoobs, 21 and 9 for just like being the dudes. They're such a good combo. And that was the fun thing. Everything sort of worked off Zoobs and James Harden, which is not that much fun because Harden, he's still a lunatic. And dude, just find a barber. Like that beard is fucked. Anyway, 12 and 4 for Derrick Jones Jr., Terrence Mann with 8 points, 17 for Norm Powell, including a big 3 late. It's just they went 8 of 29 from downtown against the Suns team. They went 15 of 38 with Booker hitting 4 of 5 before fouling out with his 15 points. Brad Beal, 24. Couple of weird fucked moments late. 25 and 7 from KD. And I guess that's the entire point. Built-in redundancy for the Suns, right? If you've got you've got 2.333 recurring stars in Booker, KD, and Brad Beal. Brad Beal being the 0.333 recurring, if anyone's playing along at home. If one does foul out, you can still score to a degree. And my biggest problem was like watching this going, Grayson Allen. Remember how he hit all the threes last year? He went 2 of 6 today, and you're like, oh, if he hits 1 or 2 more, they fucking curb stomp the Clippers. Clippers fight back, take the lead again. Suns fight back right at the end, take the lead, off they go, give it up again, get it back again, and then fucking James Harden forces overtime. You're like, all right, sure, free basketball. And again, it was back and forth in the overtime. Suns sort of rested a little bit of control. KD was just hitting some absurd shots. They were fantastic. They're hitting their free throws down the stretch, and they just hold on. But this is the thing. The Clippers didn't look, when they sort of figured out what the fuck they were doing, they looked fine. The problem is I'm fascinated to see how the rest of this season go. Well, the next couple of weeks without Kawhi, obviously, can they keep doing that? It's going to be my big question. And the Suns, I was concerned because they look janky as fuck. Right? Booker's like, I don't know what I'm doing. You've got Ryan Dunn, who played 9 minutes, the rookie. He went 1 of 5. Royce O'Neal out there in crunch time. You're like, sure. Is he going to hit a shot? No. The double zeros as well. I don't know about you, producer Joe, but watching that, the double zeros on a jersey, it just, look, I'm a big dude. Surprise twist. But the double zeros make you look fat. Like, it's the fattest looking jersey. I don't know what to tell you, but it does. You can't do the double zero. It's fucking shit. Like, you need the slimming 1. You can't have double zero. It's do not want. Like, I'm certainly not going to buy that. Jesus Christ, what's that wide load? Oh, it's just Jim walking down the hallway. I do not want a double zero jersey ever. Yeah. Anyway, there you go. Good job by the Suns. Buds gets his win to open up his account as a Phoenix Suns coach. It is funny that they're like, yeah, they've gone through 3 coaches in 3 years. You're like, fuck, so they have. Poor Frank Vogel. Anyway, good stuff. Awesome opening in Intuit Dome, though. Like, it looked awesome. I love the wall. Kind of here for that. Ballmer is just fucking losing his shit that entire game, which is classic Steve Ballmer. It looks neat. I can't wait to go there in person, though. I'll really like. It's hard to get across that vibe of like how good of a vibe it can be on TV. Like, it doesn't matter like the best fucking like looking stadiums, all that sort of shit, the most awesome tense playoff finals games. Like, some places still, it's hard to get across the atmosphere. We saw some pretty good ones last year, Boston and shit, but at the same time, it'll take some work. It was weird seeing some empty seats, but I don't know. We'll give it some time. I like the idea. All right, let's do an NBA. Let's fly through the rest of this show because we've got plenty to hit on. We've got the NBA Straya approved performance of the night.
That's not a knife. That's a knife.
I'll tell you what a knife was. Bloody hell. Paolo Banchero. He was one of my breakout. Look, I targeted him in every fantasy draft I went into this year, and I got him in absolutely none because everybody else is onto it as well. He is like the breakout dude, right? Like, he was absolutely awesome. He had 30 points, 10 rebounds in 3 quarters, ends up with 33 today. He was absolutely everywhere, and like, he's just like now doing everything. He's hitting the hard shots, he's driving, he's hitting threes. He looked fucking fantastic today. So I was stoked by that. Love me a bit of Paolo. He looked like just absolutely gnarly. So very happy with that. And outside of that, I mean, LaMelo in his first game in 9 months, 34 points, 8 rebounds, 11 assists, shot 10 of 20, 12 of 12 on the line. He was a plus 14, and they beat Houston in Houston. That was awesome. Very much enjoyed that as well. Lowry, look, 35, pointless fucking annoying 3 at the end of that one to sink your mate Jim's bet, but still. To wrap up today's picks, we went 5 of 10 in the end. And it all came down to the fucking stupid OT and the stupid half point of fucking Memphis, or we would have killed it. But anyway, the Trae Young, the 30 and 12 with 5 is very, very nice as well. Enjoyed that immensely. Good start to the season. Very fun stuff. But Paolo and LaMelo, sign me the fuck up. Like, this is just some new generation shit that I was kind of, shitting on like LaMelo's popularity the other day. But at the same time, I think I said it at the time, he's so fucking fun to watch sometimes. So just hope he stays healthy and away we bloody go. What about, we've already hit on a bunch of spuds, but we'll just play the drop because it's fun.
Spud, 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 it is spud of the night.
Spud of the night. Now, we had some pretty big spuds. We had Cole Anthony, ice cold. Anthony, he was ice cold, Anthony, today. 0 of 7. 0 of 5 for Brandon Podemski as well. I was talking with producer Gerald before this. I looked at the stats. I was like, 0 points. He must have been hurt. No, he played 25 minutes and just missed every shot. You were killing me, pods. KCP, the notorious KCP, went 0 of 5. Yeah, you know me. 0 of 5. I enjoyed that. We had 1 of 8 for Jimmy Butler, as I mentioned. Not ideal. You had KPJ go 1 of 8. You had the 3 of 18 for Keontae George, and you had the 4 of 18 for Fred VanVleet, or the fighting Van Vliets. 4 of 15 for DeJounte Murray before he got hurt. Plenty of spuds there. Keontae George particularly hurts because I've got him in, again, pretty much every fucking fantasy. So not great. But anyway, on top of that, who were our other fancy men who went and shot the magic number? Because we had Marcus Smart do it, and we also had Brook Lopez. What do they shoot, Jim? Chill! Woo! They shot 311. I've got to keep that short. We don't want to get flagged by YouTube. Just saying. Good stuff from Spuds of the Night. Garland was also pretty bad. Halliburton couldn't hit a shot until he hit that big 3. Good times there, though. All right, what about Old Mate, No Mates? This one's always an easy one.
Old mate, no mates.
Old mate, no
mates.
Old mate, no mates.
Old mate, no mates.
Old mate, no mates.
Old mate, no mates.
Two-prong one here, right? It's Nick Claxton because he fucking closed on our man Dyson Daniels, but it's also Old Mate, No Mates for our beloved Dyson Daniels because where the fuck were his teammates? Like, if I see a teammate get fucking clotheslined, the first thing you do is you're running up to start a fucking shirt front fight with the other team in like one of those awesome NBA fake fights. That's what you do. No one throws punches. You fucking just grab a bit of jersey. Dyson is brand new, and I think I already made this joke in the preseason. He was most likely to be the dude starting for Atlanta who Trae Young doesn't know their name, which sucks. He will know his name after today because he was fucking awesome. But what are you doing, Atlanta Hawks? Where's the toughness? This is why you're such a fucking cream puff franchise. Like, one of your dudes only gets his head fucking taken off and no one... He has to start his own fight. Props to Dyson Daniels. He bounces straight back up. He's right in fucking Claxton's face going, what are you fucking doing, dickhead? Come on. Outside. He's from Bendigo, I'm just saying. And off we go. Where the fuck was the rest of the team? Trying to like knock off Claxton's block. It was a bit fucking weak. Just saying. I'm not saying everyone should fight, but if you see someone clothesline your teammate, you got to fucking step up. That's some bullshit. Anyway, but Nick Claxton, Old Mate, No Mates, you just made the list. What about pantsing of the evening? Cade Cunningham snapped Pascal Siakam in half, which is pretty funny. He Siakam spin moved Pascal Siakam, which is always pretty funny. But we had a couple of really good dunks. I mean, there were plenty to see today. I want to say Ricochet had a really good one. There was a very nice Giannis one as well. And off the top of my head, there was one from one of the really early games too. Probably coming. Oh yeah, the fucking Brandon Spindles Miller. He dunked on all of Houston basically all at once. Like Jabari Smith is like, I'm fucking out. It's not like Şengün. He's like, no, and just like ran away. That's a bit of a pantsin. Who was better than Lonzo Ball? What are we gonna? Should we keep calling it better than Lonzo Ball, Gerald? What do you reckon? I don't know. Better than James Wiseman. He just tore his Achilles. I can't do that to that dude. Better than Ben Simmons. Still checks out because of his triple singles. Better than Bronny James. It still kind of works. I'm just so proud of him. I'm so proud of him as well. Let's do it.
Lonzo was the best player in high school. He was the best player in college. You think he'll get to the pros and be like, I made it to the pros, now I can be average. He's coming for everybody.
Now, coming for everybody, you might not know this about me, but I'm a softie at heart. Better than Lonzo Ball. Lonzo Ball. He played his first game in 2 fucking years today. That's awesome. We've got to give him a bit of love, don't we? So Lonzo comes out. He plays against the Pelicans. Incidentally, one of his old teams. He played 14 minutes. He went 2 of 4 from the floor, 1 of 3 from downtown. He had 5 points, 4 assists, 2 rebounds, only 1 turnover, and was a +4 in a game they lost by 12. That's fucking good. Great job, Lonzo. We're all proud of you. To be honest, I'm just like, and I've said this from the start, like even as we've spent the last 2 years going, fuck, it's a bit weird to be saying better than Lonzo Ball when he's not playing. I just wanted him back and healthy. Now it just feels bad to shit on him because he's like, coming back for 2 years. So we might just roll with better than Ben Simmons, but better than Bronny James is probably easy because it's still kind of punching up, you know what I'm saying? That's what we're all about here on NBA Straya. All right. Also, front runner for Dickhead of the Week is obviously Nick Claxton, but we do that on Friday. So just wanted to rehash. He made the list, Nick Claxton. So the list already is Draymond Green trying to kill Patty Mills last year. Westbrook did the same thing. He had a crack at, I think, Patty too. Dan Gafford elbowed Gibbs in the mouth. Nick Claxton is now on it as well. I've got to go back and figure out who else is on the list, but we're just building it up. Just made the list. Enemies forever, but here we go. All right, we'll be back with some quick yeah-nahs right after this.
This is Cam Glidden.
This is Anthony Drimmick.
This is Mitch McCarron.
This is Jason Kadee.
This is Darryl McDonald.
Hey guys, this is Hugh Greenwood.
Yo, what's going on? This is Illy.
This is Mark Worthington, or commonly known as Wortho, and you're listening to NBA Straya.
You're listening to NBA Straya.
And you're listening to NBA Straya.
And you're listening to NBA
And you're listening to
Straya.
NBA Straya.
You're listening to NBA Straya.
And you're listening to NBA Straya.
You're listening to NBA Straya.
All right, let's do it. Time for some yeah-nahs. Oh boy. Remember, send in your yeah-nahs. Just, hit us up on Twitter, Facey, IG, whatever. Just DM him through. Or jump in the YouTube comments. If you haven't watched this on YouTube, producer Gerald does a great job on it. Looks awesome. Slick as fuck. So go check it out. Bang him in the comments. I'll get around to him. So very quickly today, because I've got a couple of previews still to come here. Houston, too many dudes? Yeah, nah. This is just something, obviously, but this is something to keep a track of. Like, there is a couple of teams that have sort of hit on that have too many dudes, and your hierarchy's fucked. Like, if you go to Houston and you ask all 15 of their sort of currently active players, hey, who's the best dude on our team? I could almost guarantee you would get a different answer from 80% of them. Cam Whitmore's like, I am. Fred VanVleet's probably like, maybe LP? Probably me. Dylan Brooks is, fucking me, I'll kill ya. Like, Jabari Smith's like, who? Where? Houston. Jack McVee's like, I was built for this. Jock Landau's like, fucking get us a tin and I'll tell you. Like, it's going to be awesome. Too many dudes, though. The problem is they just signed Jalen Green to that extension. You've got Reed Shepherd just there. I feel like he might be better than Jalen Green. Şengün, he's also very handy. Can you build a team around him like you can Jokic? I don't think you can if you've got Fred VanVleet, Dylan Brooks, fucking Jalen Green as well. Like, it's just a weird fucking mishmash of talent. And sometimes that's a bad thing. Like, it's good to have lots of talent. You'll win a fair amount of games. Is Ime Udoka the dude to sort of make that gel? Probably, but it's also going to piss off a couple of dudes. So it's going to be a weird one. Keep an eye on Houston. Feeling okay about your Charlotte over pick Jim? Yeah, nah. Yeah. As long as LaMelo's healthy, fuck yeah. And I want to keep an eye on that Brandon Miller injury, obviously, but otherwise, they just look fucking... I don't know, they've actually got a proper coach now, which is nice. as opposed to the fucking dried out husk of Steve Clifford. And anyway, so that's good. I was happy about Charlotte. They are like this weird sleeping giant of the NBA because Charlotte actually is like a sneakily big population. And if they're just fun, that's all people want. Because those jerseys, they've got such an awesome like circulation of jerseys that as soon as they get good, everyone is fucking on board. I just want Charlotte to be good. I'm like, you know, I'm of the generation of Muggsy Bogues, Alonzo Mourning, Larry Johnson. I've got a Larry Johnson t-shirt that I should wear. Like, I fucking love those 90 Charlotte Hornets that only existed for like 3 or 4 years, right? Before LJ and Alonzo. Imagine if we were able to do this shit back in the 90s. Like, the Alonzo Mourning, Larry Johnson shit, that's like a story that's an off-season episode where we just dig into the most fun, weird fucking like teammate like haters. I love that shit. It's awesome. Anyway, worried about Philly? Yeah, nah. Yeah, because they don't have Joel Embiid and fucking Paul George. But at the same time, I'm more worried about like what their offensive ceiling is without those two, because it should have been higher against. But I guess Milwaukee, same token. They got Doc Rivers, former Philly coach, preaching defense. They were able to get firing, 30 points from Dame. They were like Torian the Red Bull Prince not missing. So Philly should still be able to get by for a week or two. But they reckon, Embiid out for a week, Paul George a week or two. They should be able to keep their heads above water, but I don't know. I'm a little bit worried. Should Embiid and the Sixers get the book thrown at them? So this is one thing that I didn't mention in the news, is that they're being investigated for the weird no Joel Embiid stuff, because this got reported this morning. They're going to investigate the Sixers' player participation rules of the NBA when it comes to Joel Embiid. Because remember, they got fucking up and antsy about like, oh, I can't believe you're fucking resting on a nationally televised game. And Philly are just going to go, well, he's hurt. He's Joel Embiid. He's always fucking hurt. So what do you do? Fine us for an injured player, fuckheads? David Stern would probably go, yes, you fucking pricks. Adam Silver's like, no, I couldn't possibly fine you. That would be very mean, wouldn't it? Oh, golly gosh, gee willikers, I better go over here. And then he turns into a bat and flies away. Did you see the photo of him and Lil Wayne? That was awesome. It's like there are two different types of Dracula depictions in movies, and here are both of them. It was amazing. Anyway, Adam, like this, it did get me thinking. I'm like, Adam Silver going, oh, I don't know why you're not playing Joel Embiid in a big game. And it's like, yeah, he's fucking injured. And they're kind of clearly taking the piss a little bit because he's had all offseason to get healthy. And he's, oh, my knee's a bit fucked. And they're like, we'll just keep an eye on it for a week. That's fine. And that's probably my unpopular opinion of the day. It's actually fucking fine. It's also going to lead into Outback Takehouse in a second, but that's smart management from the Sixers, I guess. It's also funny that the NBA, who are like, you can't rest players for big games on the tally. It's fucking game one. If he's injured, he's injured. Like, that shit, it's funny to investigate it. It's like, hey, the investigation is like, bring. Yeah, this is Daryl. Yeah, g'day, Daryl. Oh, sorry. Daryl, it's Adam Silver. Oh, God, here we go. Is Joel actually injured? Yeah, he's Joel Embiid. Okay, just checking. Yeah, see ya. Bang. Click. That's it. That's the entire investigation. Like, what the fuck are we doing here? It's so stupid. But NBA, got to keep up appearances, I guess. Are the Clippers better off without Kawhi Leonard? Yeah, nah. For parts of it, yeah. At the end of the game, nah. And that entire game, I'm like, fuck, are they better without Kawhi? Oh, fuck, they might be better without Kawhi. And then it got to the end of the game, it's James Harden going, fucking check this out, I'm James Harden. It's like, oh, no, they need Kawhi. It was a bit much for Fat Man Hoop LA Clan. And then finally, Ian Matthew Bassett, my favourite painter out there in Perth. How good is it to have the NBA back? Yeah, nah. Yeah, it's fucking awesome. I was so happy today. It's like 10 a.m. start. Just squids are off to daycare and school. You know, I'm just like hanging out, just fucking league pass. We had the big telly. We had the fucking iPad. We got the 2 laptops. It's just fucking on for young and old. Very stoked. All right. Unpopular opinion of the day.
Now look at me, please. Look at me.
kick the tires on when can you trade Kawhi? Could you trade Kawhi? Would anybody else take Kawhi? Just asking. Because I just don't think it's ever going to, like, when you've got a cursed franchise like the Clippers, do you think having a cursed dude like Kawhi Leonard is going to fucking help? Like, that's my favorite thing about, I wanted to go to LA and build a legacy. It's like, their legacy is fucked. You're also fucked. What do you think the legacy's going to be? It's probably that you're both fucked. Like, I feel like I'm taking crazy pills here. Like, it's fucked. Like, what are you doing? Anyway, Outback Takehouse. It's Thursday at Outback. You know what that means? Oh, yeah, 2 for 1 blooming onions. That's right. No prick in Australia knows what the fuck these things are. What's that? A blooming onion, you say? Is it when you've left the onion in the fucking cupboard too long and it starts sprouting shit? No. Turns out it's a deep-fried fat bastard yank food. And it's only at Outback. And today's Flame Grill take is, Joel Embiid is very clearly not injured. They're just limiting the chances for him to flop around and hurt himself some more. It's actually very smart management from the Sixers, as I said earlier. But the Flame Grill take is, in fact, fuck that. They shouldn't play him until after the All-Star break. Just rest up, Joel. You've then got, like, a third of a season to get back into game shape and then hit the fucking playoffs. And when I say playoffs, I mean the 7, 8, or 9, 10 playing game, but still, at least you'll be healthy. Only at Outback. Like, people getting up at, like, me, I'm firmly on the side of the fans. And Joel Embiid go, I'm not going to play back-to-backs. And everybody getting up in arms. Like, what the fuck did you expect? The dude's fucking massive. His knees are fucked. He reckons he's in the best shape he's been in for ages, and he's already hurt. Like, you almost have to treat Joel Embiid like one of those, like, weird fucking, like the old-timey sort of awesome motorbikes, or like the weird European cars that, like, you need a specialist to fix and shit because no one knows how the fuck they operate. Like, he's one of those. He just sits in the shed. Got a cover on it. You just pull it out every so often. You're like, we might take it for a fucking burl, and then it breaks down. It's like one of those cars that Jerry Seinfeld fangs around in, and like comedians in cars getting coffee and shit. Yeah. Just don't Google Jerry Seinfeld and underage. Anyway, he's a weirdo. Anyway, Joel Embiid, just rest him. Like, Andre Drummond is basically what? He's going to get you all the rebounds. You just need to fix the scoring. Everywhere else. All right, quick Australian player watch. Box Hill Benny, 6 points, 8 assists, 5 rebounds. So that's a nice triple single. 6 turnovers and 5 fouls. It was his first game coming back, so let's fucking pump the brakes. I'm not going to shit on him too much. Josh Giddey, 30 minutes today for the Bulls. Looked pretty good at times. 14 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 turnovers. 0 of 3 from downtown. 1. Hang on a second. What did I have? 0 of 3. I might have written 3 before I did anything else. It's a weird setup still in fucking Chicago, because it's like, I feel like Josh Giddey, Kobe White, Zach LaVine, that's a weird fit. And they've also got Lonzo. Just sort of fucks stuff up, doesn't it? Anyway, no Josh Green today. As I mentioned, the Achilles stuff. No Johnny Furphy. Old Frost, he got the did not play. Dyson Daniels, as mentioned, was fan-fucking-tastic. 15 points, 6 of 12 from the floor, 2 of 4 from 3, 5 steals, 5 rebounds, 2 assists and a block. He was everywhere. Also nearly got his fucking head taken off. Paddy Mills, played a surprisingly large role for the Utah Jazz. It's a soft J. Against the Grizzlies. He played 16 minutes. He didn't take a shot in 16 minutes today, Paddy, which is a bit fucking weird. But he was a plus 10. It's just vibes. That's just the best vibes in the world. You know how hard it is to play 16 minutes, not take a shot, and be plus 10? Paddy Mills has got the best vibes on the fucking planet. That's amazing. He had 1 rebound and 1 assist. What a fucking legend. I love you, Paddy. Rock'em, sock'em, block'em, jock'em, Landale. Had a pretty solid 10 minutes out there against Charlotte. He went 2 of 4 from the floor, 1 of 3 from downtown. Sorry, 1 of 1 from downtown. That's what I was trying to say. 5 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, and a foul. That's pretty good 10 minutes if you ask me. That's a full day. And And I feel like, oh, yeah, we had the 3 minutes from Duop where he hit a 3, which was kind of nice. The thing with Duop is you got to look at that Portland team and go, oh, there is such a fucking logjam in every position, basically. Because they had Donovan Clingan out there for 13 minutes. Duop played 3, went obviously the 1 and 2 from the floor, 3 points, 1 rebound, 1 assist. But you've got dominating. You've obviously got Time Lord, who is still dealing with a hamstring strain, but you've got 3 centers already, and there's a 4th waiting to come back. So it's just a bit fucked. Anyway, the role player of the day. What do we call this one? The sweaty, hairy bloke of the week is the Mark Bradkey Memorial Award. The Kiwi of the week, Steven Adams, bro. You know me, I love some Steven Adams. For the Houston Rockets. How did the big Kiwi, the Kiwi check-in? Just didn't play. And that's fine because he didn't even dress. He might be injured. But I feel like in terms of the Steven Adams Role Player Award, I was watching, what was it, that Golden State game. I mentioned him earlier. Buddy Hield. There is such an awesome opportunity for him in Golden State to be like, Splash Brothers, baby. And Steph Curry's like, fuck off, idiot. But, as I've said, I talked about too many dudes. Buddy Hield, if he could just carve out that specific role of gunner off the bench, do your fucking thing. He had 22 points in 15 minutes today. I didn't want to talk about it too much because I was going to hit on it in this segment, but that's awesome. That's what we need from you, Buddy Hield. That's what Golden State needs from you. Just can you do it against anybody that isn't Portland? Just saying. All right, the Penny Mills Game Day Baller Game Day Twitter check-in. Let's play some more music. This is where we just look at his Instagram. It went awesome yesterday. It was pretty fun. It's a Jock Landale story. Here we go. For the slam off Amen Thompson. Oh, no, he got the assist to Amen Thompson. That was fucking nice, actually. Jock Landale fucking shredding. We got any more? Oh, Patty Mills, 2 new posts. There we go. Swagger down. He does look good in an oversized denim jacket. I will give him that. And there's him and a dog. Holy shit. Utah Jazz and Baller Pat. He's giving, look at that doggo. He's a fucking scrubhead. That's great. Checked in with Patty this morning ahead of the start of his 16th season in the league and what he's learned along the way. There's a bit of a chat on the drive, so go check that out. I would still run through a wall with Patty Mills. All right. That was day 2. Let's do some game previews for day 3. Game previews. Thanks, Inadvertent Bane. Not a problem, Jim. Did you enjoy the 10-game slate? I mean, I would have enjoyed it more if those fucking other 2 games had a hit. Jim would have been able to afford a new pair of shoes. But instead, we went 5 of 10, which is fine. But for that annoying Larry Markkinen 3 at the very end of that game, which is just taking the piss. And then they didn't foul the Jazz. So Memphis win by 2. I think we had them at 2.5 yesterday. So that's pretty frustrating. And then the other one was obviously that Clippers-Suns one. I think we had them at 4.5, the Suns. And they turned the ball over on the inbounds at the very end. They should have fouled. Had they hit both of those, they would have covered as well. So that was a very brutal one. But we nailed the Indy, Milwaukee, Orlando, Charlotte, Golden State picks. So 5 of 10. So we're racked. We went 1 and 2 yesterday, 5 of 10 today. We are rocking in a surprise twist. That's right, Math Magician at 50%. So all against the spread. We put $20 on each of those games today, so we've just gone completely fucking net neutral. Anyway, we have 4 awesome games tomorrow, which is very, very fun for day 3. And I think this will be the last of the debutants. Yeah, we've got Boston at Washington. Washington hosting the reigning champions. Boston are 13.5-point favorites in this game. Jeez, Jim, that's a big number, and I do not give a fuck. I'm getting around Boston. 13.5. They hit all the threes the other day. That was against a good team. Washington, they're bad. I just think the scoring on all levels, though, for Boston against this Washington team is probably going to be a horrible defense for all the year. I'm still going to go Boston, even that big number of 13.5. Give me the Celtics. Even without the extreme zinger meal, there to go a bit fucking hammer and tongs against one of his old teams, still going Boston. Then we get Wemby's debut for this season with Chris Paul in Dallas against Luka and Kyrie. How fun is this? Dallas is 7.5-point favorites at home. I've gone back and forth on this heaps already. I just don't know if San Antonio's defense outside of Wemby will be good enough to contain Dallas's offense with Luka, Kyrie, all their new weapons, and they've got a bit of size on the inside with Derek Lively and Dan Gafford to at least throw at Wemby a little bit. Like, you can't stop him. You can only hope to contain him. That sort of vibe. But this is sort of like, it's a tough matchup for San Antonio just for the sheer Luka fact, let alone Kyrie up against the Spurs point guard rotation, which is Chris Paul, like a rookie in Stephon Castle, and like what? I assume they've still got Trey Jones, right? So it gets very, very hard very, very quickly, I think, for the Spurs. So 7.5, even though it's probably a little bit too big for my liking, Dallas are probably pretty well equipped. So to the point where we saw some games today, very similar, right? So like Orlando, Miami, that ends up being a big blowout. Milwaukee, Philly, same sort of thing. So I feel like they've got Harrison Barnes that they can try to throw on like the wing dudes of Dallas, but at the same time, like Klay Thompson's still now there. You got other dudes. I think Dallas's offense is a little bit too good for San Antonio's defense. Then we have Minnesota, Sacramento. Again, a very strange and fun game. Minnesota have already played, same as Boston. What's going to happen here? Is it going to be light the beam? Fires the laser! I don't think so. I think Minnesota bounced back from that disappointing game one showing and really give it to Sacramento because you got the Souvlaki King Domantas Sabonis up against Rudy Gobert. Is this stuff what they were? You've got Ant-Man versus De'Aaron Fox. There's going to be a bit of fucking speed going back and forth there. Tell you what, it's like a party at Joel Smith's house. That's a footy reference. Jesus. Minnesota are 0.5-point favorites in Sacramento, and I'm going to take Minnesota. I did worry about that offense in that game one against the Lakers. I don't think Sacramento's defense is as good as the Lakers one, though. Sacramento can probably score plenty. I think Minnesota clamps them a little bit. Give me the Wolves. And then we've got the barn-burning final game tomorrow. Oklahoma City against the Denver Nuggets. How good is this game? You got Chet versus Jokic, SGA versus Jamal. Denver are 2.5-point favorites at home. How much do you rate Oklahoma City's chances in this one? Pretty bloody good. The 2.5 is the key for me. I worry about Denver's depth, and we know that OKC has just a fuck ton of it. They've got Caruso putting on a Caruso show. You've got SGA. I kind of like OKC. And again, we saw this in Utah, Memphis. 2 points, 2-point game. If I'm getting 2.5 with OKC, I might just take it because they're just good. They're not going to be underdogs in too many games this season. I'm going to jump at the chance. SGA, that's a tough matchup for Jam and Jamal. We know that defensive backcourt for OKC is really, really fucking good. And the thing is, if you can slow down Jamal, we've seen it time and time again with this Denver team. If Jamal has a shit game, you can get by Denver. The thing is, Jokic also might have a triple-double and just eat fucking Chet Holmgren alive. So he's like, hey, come here, like a horse. I'd ride you. Yeah, hey. Off he goes. So I'm going to take OKC plus 2.5 in Denver. I don't usually like going against Denver at home at that altitude, but this one, bit of a special case. I think OKC are special. So there you go. So that's it. Boston, Dallas, Minnesota, and OKC tomorrow. 3 away teams. Don't like that much, but here we go. And that's it. Good stuff. That was fun, wasn't it? I'll tell you what. So that's it for today. We'll be back on deck tomorrow. Probably from the NBA Straya studio, so probably no producer Gerald, which is a shame. I just like having a bit of company in here as I fucking yell into the other. But anyway, should be all right. Make sure you're getting around NBA Straya on the old YouTube as well. If you haven't gone and subscribed already, jump in the comments, chuck in some yeah-nahs, go absolutely apeshit over there, would you? That'd be really cool. Otherwise, get around NBA Straya on Twitter, Facey, IG, as well as TikTok. That's right. I did some blind ranking. Well, I did a blind ranking for that one as well. It was very fun. I think Leo tried to stitch me up. I think I got out of it okay, though. It was good. It was good. Check out NFL Straya, of course, with myself and Gaz as well. Plenty of shit that's popped up there. Good stuff all around, as well as all the other shows that we've got. The AFLW Today show, Cricket Today podcast, Football Today podcast, and, of course, Hold All Tickets, Spring Racing Carnival. So you better be listening to that if you like your GGs. Get right around it. Get around the bands as well. From Oslo, they're behind the intro and outro song, as well as House Hats, Joshua De Laurentiis, Fascinated, Goldmines, Ramshackle Army, Iowa, Sex Jedi, Green, and Dozers. They're behind all the tunes you heard throughout the show. So smash them all at Bandcamp, Drip Down Earth, Facey Apple Music, all that good stuff. Have you follow and listen to your tunes, do that. I'm going to go to Less Than Jake tomorrow. That's going to be fun. It's a really early show, Gerald. It's like at 8 o'clock. It's like the oldest person show in the world. Oh, geez, the show is at 8. It's done by fucking 9:30. Could go to another gig. It's going to be awesome. And then we've got Frenzal on Saturday. Fucking, I'm already tired. I'm so old. Absolutely washed. All right, that's it for today. Awesome day 2. It's great to be back in the flow of this. We will catch you tomorrow, you dickheads. This is NBA Straya saying, look after yourselves, would you? And let us know.